What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Talking Sports podcast right here on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. It is NFL draft time, one of my favorite times of the year. I love the NFL draft, and I also love doing this episode. But NBA playoffs is, when you listen to this, is still barely just started. So if you're even on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, after done watching this, don't do anything else with your life. Come and go watch the NBA playoffs. Full breakdown of the whole NBA playoffs. You guys don't want to miss that. But watch the NFL draft episode right now with us. Then go over and watch NBA playoffs. But before we get into our full first round NFL mock draft, JR, where can everyone follow us on social media? And who will be sponsored by?
Yeah, guys, we are on social media on Instagram, TikTok, and X at Talking Sports PD. Like Pete mentioned, he just posted one of his picks he did on our Twitter account last night or night before. So yeah, keep up to date. NBA playoffs, we'll post out some more content about that. NFL draft, a lot more content. So yeah, please follow us, stay up to date at Talking Sports PD on Instagram, Twitter, and X. And then, like Pete said, NBA playoffs barely just started. Get on to Underdog Fantasy and use promo code TSP for a 100% deposit match. They make pick'ems, player props. So, 100% deposit match. Make it more interesting. Make it more fun when you're watching. Use promo code TSP.
Yeah, I just posted one on social media, like Jared said on Twitter. And yeah, up-to-date content, all social media, all that kind of stuff. Okay, if it seems like we're rushing, because we have a lot to get into it. This is the time of the year, NBA is kind of similar, where we give you guys our full first-round mock draft. And it's not us, Jared, who you've going one. Okay, Peter, who do you have going one? No, because we're going to bore the hell out of you, and I wouldn't even want to watch that.
It'd take 2 hours, too.
Take 2 hours, and no one has that. What we're doing is a full 32-round mock draft. We're both two different GMs. JR is going to get the first pick. I get the second pick. JR gets the third pick, and we go from there. So we basically split the picks half and half, and it's kind of fun because, maybe JR takes that guy that I thought fit this team a little better right before him. I have to get on my feet on my or make a change or something like that. But no trades, so it's going to look a little different. We're not doing trades, so for example, maybe a team trades up for J.J. McCarthy. Probably happens Thursday night. We are not going to have that. We are not doing trades. So, JR, without further ado, we are adding the PFF mock draft simulator, so you guys can come check this out. And this full mock draft will be on social media, on all platforms, Thursday morning. So, if you missed this, first of all, watch the episode, and then go like the post or support it. So, JR, we got to get started here so everyone sees what we got here. The Bears are on the clock. JR, you are on the clock. What do we got?
Yeah, so this might be my easiest pick of the night. Everyone has him going number one. It's kind of like a done deal. Who knows? But Caleb Williams out of USC. Not much to explain here. He's the best quarterback in the draft, in my opinion, and in many people's opinions. Definitely a franchise player.
Yeah, that's probably the one pick we already probably know. And
yeah,
I agree. Probably the best player in the draft, best quarterback in the draft. Caleb Williams. Okay. Commanders are on the clock. This one, it gets a little tricky, right, Jared? I think it's a Drake May.
This is where you got to pick one or the other type of
It's a Drake May. It's a Jaden Daniels. And I thought the last week and a half or last 2 weeks, it was a lot of Jaden Daniels. And the last couple of days, it's like the odds are starting to shift a little. Are we going Drake May? Am I buying into
and what's smoke and what's not?
What am I buying into, right? Like that's kind of what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna stick with what's been reported the most, and I'm gonna go with. We gotta find him. Oh my God! Thank you PFF for not ranking him high enough. Jaden Daniels out of LSU. I'm not saying I would do this pick, but I think there's been enough smoke around this pick. The Commanders go with that. Second or third best quarterback in the class, and they think they get their franchise. So they go in Jaden Daniels at 2. And guys, if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we're going to read it out to you. But if you're on YouTube, you can just look exactly what's going on. You can mute us. You can see just exactly what's going on and see what we got.
All right. So now I'm up. Patriots, number 3.
You're a big Patriots fan.
Most likely they're just going to go whatever way the Commanders don't go if they do stay in this position. Now they could shake it up, get Marvin Harrison. The one thing with getting a quarterback for the Patriots here, it's their team around them. It's not great. So it's like, why pick someone that's probably going to be set up for failure in the beginning? But like a lot of teams, when you're high in the draft, it's usually like that. So I'm going to go Drake May at a UNC and get them their franchise quarterback. And hopefully, they can start turning things around post Belichick.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if they're ready for a franchise quarterback, but eventually you have to kind of pull that trigger.
Yeah.
You kind of got to go with it. And I like the Drake May. So 3 quarterbacks are off the board. Comment down below how many quarterbacks you think are going off the board in this first round. Is it 4? Is it 5? Do we even get to 6 potentially? Right now we got 3 with 3 picks to go. Okay, first pick that's not going to be a quarterback, and that's the Arizona Cardinals. They have 2 picks in this draft, first round draft. 2 picks in this first round. 4th pick and 27th pick to be noted. I think this is a spot where they probably, Jared, could be trading out for a team that comes in with a quarterback. It's either a trade, and so is maybe the Chargers at 5 as well. It's either a trade out or you take maybe the best player in this draft, and definitely, in my opinion, the best receiver in this draft. They're going to go Marvin Harrison Jr. They just lost Hollywood Brown. They got to get Kyler Murray a little bit more help, start building back up that offense. They take the best weapon in the draft, and that is Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, I feel like the first 5 picks is what a lot of people. First 4 picks, mostly what everyone has. Maybe a little flip flop order for like the 2 and 3, but so far it's pretty consistent. So now I'm at 5. This is where it could start getting a little interesting. Chargers most likely. Who knows what they're gonna do?
Could be a trade out.
Yeah. So I'm thinking wide receiver because they lost Keenan, they lost Mike Williams. And they definitely need a wide receiver. However, you took the best one off the board.
Oh.
Or you could go offensive line here.
Oh.
So I wasn't really prepared for this. And I should have been because I knew what the first 4 picks were. But I'm going to pick Joe Alt out of Notre Dame.
Hey.
I think you could get wide receiver value, second
later.
round.
It's a really deep draft class.
It's
a really deep draft.
Exactly. And Joe Alt's by far the best offensive lineman. So I think take best kind of player available for them right here and take Joe Alt, protect Herbert.
I love it, man. I love it, right? Like, I think if you think long-term with the Chargers, they obviously second round, they'll be clamoring to get a receiver, but it's a really, really deep wide receiver draft class. The Bills need a receiver. I've studied the receiver class. It's super deep.
And how many times have you seen Herbert on the ground holding something? So protect them. Interesting.
Okay. Giants, they're at 6. Quarterback, receiver. I think they could potentially go Joe Alt here, JR, right?
Yeah.
That could be an option. I don't think there's a tackle right now you probably take at 6.
A lot of people might have them taking it. I've seen JJ McCarthy up there. So.
Yeah, I agree. And this also could be a trade out or trade up. Like, I think if they would Joe Alt's there, I think they would think about it, right? But they've already invested in Daniel Jones for at least another year. I don't buy JJ McCarthy, but this is not what I buy. This is more with the Giants. I just think these two, Rome Odunze and Malik Neighbors, are too hard to pass up. And maybe they didn't think Malik Neighbors would get to 6. I'm going, in my opinion, the second best receiver in this class. I'm going to go Malik Neighbors. They need offensive weapons, Jay. There is no – we talked about the Patriots taking a quarterback with not a lot of talent. The Giants would take a quarterback with not a lot of talent. Not the time to do this unless maybe Drake May or Jaden Daniels falls to you. I think you take Malik Neighbors and get yourself a legit playmaker. And we know, look, LSU receivers, a good track record in the National Football League.
Yeah, that is true. So now
you're at 7 with the Titans.
7. This is the pick I'm not looking forward to picking. So there's, this is another trade out opportunity for the Titans. They're going to take Will Levis for another year. They're not going to go QB. Wide receiver, they brought in Ridley. You could go wide receiver, but
I forgot they brought in Ridley.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing that might screw you up next pick. I think they're going to go defensive side of the ball. Because offensive line, you could. It's 7th. It's a little early to get more value later on. I'm going Dallas Turner, edge rusher from Alabama. I know a lot of people have him going to the Falcons. but just brings another edge rusher for that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This defensive class is interesting. Like it's not
interesting.
Good. It's just not super top heavy.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's if you're looking for a defensive player in the 15 to 25 range in the first round, this is your draft, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's probably the best defensive player in this draft, in my opinion. I like Dallas Turner, right? And you probably Calvin Ridley buys you. And we talked about deep receiver class, but no, that does put the Falcons, who I'm up at 8, a little bit of situation. I don't think they're gonna go receiver. You already have Kyle Pitts. You already have Drake London. You spent 2 top 12, 13 picks on 2 weapons. Am I missing a receiver on the Falcons?
I kind of forgot who you just said.
They went BJ Robinson last year. So they've taken 3 high offensive talents. I'm talking to myself because I have no idea who I'm going here.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
You did this to me. Look, you could go Byron Murphy, who I have on the screen, who I think is a really talented defensive tackle. I think they go here, and this is where I talked about in the beginning of the podcast, where one of us can kind of mess each other up based off a pick. JR just messed me up.
Yeah, I knew that would too.
I'm gonna go cornerback. I'm gonna go Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo, right? Someone that reminds me of someone on JR's favorite team, the Jets, Sauce Gardner, right? Kind of Cincinnati is a little bit of a bigger school than Toledo, but not coming from your traditional Power 5, Power 6 school, kind of flying under the radar, really super aggressive cornerback. Their top 2 needs are defensive lineman and corner. JR probably took the best edge rusher in this class, in my opinion. They go corner. They get a super talented kid out of Toledo, and I'm assuming he's the highest pick out of Toledo ever. I'm just going to assume that. I don't know if that's true, but I would have to assume. So I'm going Quinion Mitchell. Thanks for that, JR. Appreciate you.
Yes, put the pressure on already. So then Bears came away with Caleb Williams, first pick. Pick number 9. I'm thinking they're going probably going to go defense here. They already have Keenan Allen, have DJ Moore that could get another receiver, but I just don't see that it's not necessary with the 9th pick. I'm going to go a guy you just mentioned because they brought in Montez Sweat as an edge rusher. They could go another edge rusher, but I think they're going to get D-line. I think they're going to go Byron Murphy. When I say I think, that's like what I'm going with. I don't know why I'm saying it, but they're going to get Byron Murphy here, get an interior defensive lineman because that's kind of a struggle point for them right now. So clear that up.
Byron Murphy at 9 to the Bears. Okay, so I'm picking for JR. When I mean for JR, JR's team's the Jets. JR, you got your 20 seconds, man. What would you do here personally if you if it's your decision with how the board fell? Maybe the board might not fall. Obviously, the board might not fall like this, but if the board fell like this, what would you do? You got to persuade me. You're basically my assistant GM for the next 20 seconds here.
Well, there's 2 options. It's kind of only 2 options I would do.
Really?
Rome Odunze or Brock Bowers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I'll give you 2 options.
Okay. So Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Is that your pitch? Okay. So how the board fell. I think I know who I'm going. I'm throwing away. Throwing away is a really mean way to say this. I am putting aside Brock Bowers, the tight end. I think he's super talented. I think he's really good. I think he's a luxury pick for where the Jets are. In my opinion, you might not agree with me. I think if Rome Odunze wasn't here, I would take the best offensive tackle, in my opinion. I know you brought in Tyron Smith. And I know you brought in Morgan Moses. Both guys are obviously aging offensive tackle. Tyron Smith hasn't been able to stay healthy. I do think this class is super deep with offensive talent, right? Outside tight end receiver, right? And I don't know if tight end's a necessity in the top 10. In my opinion, even though I do think Brock Bowers is really good. I would probably personally go, if Rome Odunze wasn't there, Talise Fuaga from Oregon State. That's what I would do. But because the board fell like this and Odunze got the 10, I think the Jets would be utter idiots to pass on Odunze. I think you should take a tackle over Bowers, in my opinion. You don't take a tackle over Odunze. Jets fans are happy. They get Rome Odunze, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. And I don't
know. You kind of have to at that point.
Yeah, I was not actually expecting him to fall.
No, I love Bowers. I don't take Bowers over a tackle, in my opinion. I just don't think the need, in my opinion. But with Rome Odunze, and I do think you need receivers. I I think because Keenan Allen,
Mike Williams, can't trust him to be healthy at all.
I said Keenan Allen, but yeah, Mike Williams.
I wish we had Keenan Allen.
And then obviously Garrett Wilson's a stud, but you need another guy. So Roma Dunze falls to 10. So Jared, 11, Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, so Minnesota, they have Sam Darnold. And now I'm not sure their thoughts on him. Like, do they want him to start? Do they bring him in to be the starter? And they're at 11 here. JJ McCarthy's still on the board. I feel like it's a little early for Penix or even like Bo Nix. But I'm gonna pick JJ McCarthy. I think he could be a little reach. I just don't like. I wouldn't want Sam Darnold being my starter when you have Justin Jefferson. You don't want to waste that talent. So I'm going JJ McCarthy. He's in a great situation with the best receiver in the league, a young Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. Their defense is lackluster, but they got their future franchise quarterback.
I like it. I think he probably ends up going higher. I think a team trades into the top 7, I would say, for JJ McCarthy. I'm not saying that's what I would do, but I'm saying that's what happens. I think would happen. And Minnesota could be that team, and JJ McCarthy is probably that quarterback. You put me in a situation with Denver here, right? Because if you didn't go JJ McCarthy, I would have went JJ McCarthy here, right? Yeah. And they need a quarterback. They just traded for Zach Wilson. Jared knows firsthand he is not the answer. You never know. I guess Jared, I think, would be kind of annoyed if he turned into a really good quarterback. They need a receiver. Roma Dunze just didn't fall far enough, in my opinion. Well, obviously he didn't fall enough. He's 2 spots ahead. They can go center, edge. I don't love Latu. He has a neck injury. I said his name so wrong. I think quarterback, and they go Michael Penix Jr. I almost clicked someone else by accident. Michael Penix, that would be bad. Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington. All of a sudden, in the last couple weeks, getting a lot of first round hype, and he's a guy that is super accurate, right? A guy that just builds his repertoire on being accurate and putting the ball exactly where he wants it. That's what Drew Brees was with Sean Payton with the Saints. I think Michael Penix out of Washington fits that. I think that's the first maybe shock of the draft, in my opinion, Jared.
Yeah, well, you shocked me. Well, I figured you were going to go quarterback. That's me in a sticky situation right now because I'm the Raiders, and then 2 quarterbacks right in a row. My starting quarterbacks, probably Gardner Minshew, maybe O'Connell. And that's not most likely going to cut it unless, Minshew got paid this summer. Maybe they're thinking, hey, he could start.
Wait a year.
Yeah, so it's different. Could go defense. I'm not going to go O-line. I'm not going to go wide receiver. Okay. I'm going to pair Max Crosby up with another edge rusher. Jared Verse.
Okay.
Florida State. Because I don't know if they're going to go. If I should go quarterback here, it's like weird.
You don't.
You're going to force it at that point. You probably trade back at this situation. But
yeah, and I think the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Vikings are the 3 teams that probably could be trading up for a quarterback, right? Like, one of them probably trades up, and obviously we're in the situation. But they get a super talented Jared Verse, who's probably a top 10 talent at their team, and the Raiders would somehow find a way to mess it up anyway. So those probably doesn't matter. Okay, Saints at 14. They could go quarterback. They could go receiver. They could go tackle. They could go defensive lineman. I think the tackle is an option. I think the D-line's an option with Newton. I don't know if he should be 14th overall. They have a lot of tackles. J.C. Latham, the kid out of Penn State that I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. Talise Fuaga, who I thought would be, I think, is perfect for the Jets at 10, and maybe he starts falling a little. That is who I am going to go with, right? I'm passing up on Brock Bowers, which is a little interesting here.
Hey, fix in, buddy.
No, I didn't do it yet. I didn't click it. Never mind. I second guessed it. I deleted the name. I'm going Brock Bowers. I don't think he gets past 14. I think they pass up a need for the best player available. I think that's what they do. So they pass up a need with the best player available. I think they go Brock Bowers. Even though I think the right pick is probably Fuaga out of Oregon State.
Damn, that was going to be – Brock Bowers is probably going to be my pick for the Colts here. help out their young quarterback, and some blocking. So I'd say that's a good pick for the Saints in that situation. So Anthony Richardson coming off a season-ending injury.
Yep.
I think I'm going to pick Talise Fuaga. I was going to go maybe cornerback.
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, they could use
I
one.
love Cooper DeJean.
But you got a second-year franchise quarterback. He's a runner. He gets hurt. So you want to keep him safe. You want to be able to block for him in the run too. And I'll go Talise Fuaga.
Yeah, love it. Smart, safe pick.
Yeah.
Doing your thing. He just got injured from running, right? You just kind of said that. You kind of need to protect him, which is a lot of quarterbacks in the National Football League, in my opinion. Okay, Seattle, according to PFF, their 4 best needs are guard, edge, linebacker, and safety. That doesn't really fit where they are at the draft, in my opinion, how it fell. But there's a couple of guys that could float over to the guard position, and this is where I think Troy Fatanu, Jared, you got to help me there. Fatanu.
Oh, yeah, Fautanu
out of Washington, right? He's listed as a tackle, Jared. I've read a couple of things. He projects as probably a guard at the next level. That's where he kind of projects. That's what I've read. I think they go with him. I think their top need, in my opinion, is an interior offensive lineman, and I think they move him over to guard. So, that's not what I wanted to do. Off the board at 16 to Seattle.
So now I'm up pick 16 or 17.
17.
Jacksonville Jaguars. They have a pretty solid offensive line, I'd say. They just got Gabe Davis, who they're high on. They lost Calvin Ridley. Could go receiver here, but I think they're going to go defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
And I'm probably going to pick a corner for them. And I'm going to go, Terrion Arnold from Alabama. Who I think is, number 2 on the board for cornerbacks. So, yeah, I'm going to go him.
Terrion Arnold, people love his talent, and obviously Alabama cornerbacks are top notch here. So, right, 18 with the Bengals coming off injury to Brock Bowers, injury to Joe Burrow, right? I think they could go Brock Bowers here if he fell all the way to 18. He did not. He fell to 14. I think they need an offensive line help, Jared, right? We've seen Joe Burrow just get injured, right? And eventually it caught up to you last year. If one more time, it spiraled, right? Yeah, so I think there's a couple options here, right? And I think maybe a month or two ago, Fashanu from Penn State would probably be this pick and maybe a little higher. But I'm not going that way. I'm going with the Alabama kid. I'm going J.C. Latham at 18, and then they get their future, hopefully for their sake. And hopefully it's not, but I don't like the Bengals. But for future sake, all-pro offensive tackle, and they go J.C. Latham, which results in back-to-back Alabama picks.
It's not something we haven't seen before.
That's true.
So now I got the Rams. Aaron Donald just retired this year. Their offensive line's a little shaky. But I'm gonna. There's a player on the board that some people project shouldn't really be on the board right now. He's an LA kid from UCLA. I'm gonna go Laiatu Latu.
Yeah.
With Aaron Donald's absence, they need someone to get to the quarterback, even though he's not D-line. They have a young D-line. They're doing well, but add another edge rusher.
Yeah, a little bit of a neck concern.
Yeah.
So if he gets cleared, obviously, I think he's super talented. PFF has him the 10th overall ranked prospect. Super talented, right? 20 Pittsburgh Steelers, right? There's a couple options you can go here. There's a need at receiver, right? Deontay Johnson is no longer a member of the team. They have Justin Fields. They have Russell Wilson. You got to get them weapons, right? They have George Pickens, who's been very up and down. Outside of that, the weapons do not kind of jump off the board to me, Jared. But Pittsburgh's track record is not taking receiver in the first round, right? It's taking receivers on day 2 and day 3 and developing them. Like that's kind of been their bread and butter when it comes to the offense or reaching like Najee Harris in the first round. as a running back. But I think they kind of play it safe to the vest. I think they need secondary help. You can go tackle here. You can go Jackson Powers Johnson, the center out of Oregon, who I think is going to be a really good player. But I think this guy fell a little too far, in my opinion, just based off needs. And we took some other corners ahead of him, Arnold and Mitchell. You and I both took them. So that's also kind of on us as well. A guy that can play corner, safety, and slot corner. That is Iowa's Cooper DeJean. I think just an all can do kind of everything on the field. And I think Mike Tomlin would fall in love with that. So I think the Steelers get a heck of a player at 20.
Yeah, I like that. He's an interesting talent. So now I've got Dolphins 21. They've lost a couple players this offseason, Christian Wilkins being one of them. So I think they're going to fill that hole here. I mean, they could go guard. Who was the guy they lost again? Hunt?
Yeah, they could go tackle or guard. They can go offensive lineman, yeah.
They could. But I think they're going to go. I'm going to have them go D tackle or D line here. Jerzan Newton from Illinois. Kind of fill like Christian Wilkins' role and supply that defensive line for another season.
Yeah, 22. The Philadelphia Eagles, according to PFF, wide receiver and linebacker, their top two needs. Don't think they want to go receiver, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, right? I don't know if that really fits what they want at the moment. And I don't think the linebacker is worth a first-round pick in this year's draft. So they want DB, not safety. I think they go corner. And I think there's a couple of guys you can pick from. You can pick from Ennis Rakestraw Jr. out of Missouri. You can go Kool-Aid McKinstry, in my opinion, or you can go Nate Wiggins. Kool-Aid McKinstry has a sick name, so you can go. Yeah. You can just pick him for that name, and I wouldn't blame you. But I think they go Nate Wiggins, a little skinny, but super, super quick, super fast, has a burst when he attacks receivers and onto the ball. They need secondary help. It struggled down the stretch for them. I think Nate Wiggins out of Clemson is a home run pick at 22.
No, I like that. So now I got
Vikings
again. So double down on the Vikings.
They already went J.J. McCarthy at 11.
Pick their franchise quarterback. I'm going to go you know what?
No.
I'm going to go I forgot he was still on the board. I'm going to go Fashanu. From Penn State. He fell.
He fell.
He's still out there. Why not? I was going to go maybe defensive line, but you just got to pick your franchise quarterback. Your offensive line's not the best. Let's protect him. And, yeah.
I like it. He fell, I think, when people do those articles the day after the first round, who got the steal, who reached, right? If they were doing it based off that might be one of those picks, in my opinion, at 23. And obviously, we're always projecting. It's NFL draft. You never know. But it's fun, and we enjoy it. But I think that was a good pick. He fell a little. It always happens. A couple of guys always fall when we do this. Yeah. We have different point of views and all that kind of stuff. Dallas at 24. Need a running back. Not taking one in the first round. They could go receiver here. There's a couple options. Brian Thomas Jr., Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, Lam McConkey, right? Like there's a good amount of receivers here. Could go center. Could go tackle. Could go D-line. Could go linebacker. Could go corner, right? Like there's a lot of options here, right? I think they go a little bit of a bread and butter pick, in my opinion. Chop Robinson's an option here at edge, who I really like, but I think they go maybe the safest pick in the draft, JR. That is center Jackson Powers Johnson. We know Dallas, great track record of offensive linemen.
Yeah.
They've just been produce offensive linemen. They go maybe the safest pick, in my opinion, in the draft in the first round, Jackson Powers Johnson, the center out of Oregon.
So you think he's the safest bet?
Yeah, I just think he's not. Look, when I say safest, I mean like a guy. Well,
lowest floor.
Outside of like Marvin Harrison, outside of like
I know what you mean.
Harrison, like he'd be a little more creative than that, in my opinion. But like a guy that I think is going to be a good NFL pro. He might not be a superstar, but I think 8 to 10 years down the road, you and I may be talking about this. And we're just like Jackson. We might not be, but Jackson Powers Johnson he turned out to be a good NFL player, and I think that's a safe pick right there. And I think 24 Dallas.
I like it. So now I'm at 25. I kind of have a similar mindset right now. Did really well last season. I'd say
Green Bay,
yeah. Exceeded expectations. I think they lost a couple tackles. They lost Bakhtiari and I think one other guy, I forget his name, this offseason. Gonna go tackle here, and I'm gonna pick Amarius Mims. I think he's the best tackle available right now, and kind of protect that young Jordan Love.
I like it. Yeah, they've drafted well receivers. They have good weapons. I think they seem like a second and third round type of team to draft receivers. They don't seem like a first kind of team. I like Amarius Mims. Get your tackle for the future. Also, maybe you could play. Maybe this could have been a Jackson Powers Johnson pick to play guard as well, in my opinion. There's a couple options here. Tampa Bay at 26, right? Don't think they go tight end. Don't think they go running back. I'm looking at the D lineman room. I like Brandon Fisk. Brandon Dorless, Jared. You don't know this is one of my favorite players in this draft. He's not a first round guy, but I'm just gonna throw that out there to my own horn.
All right, it's good to know.
Just in case he stinks or not. Chop Robinson, I think is gonna be good. A decent Isaac. So I'm between two players here, Jared. I'm between Chop Robinson, the edge out of Penn State, and I'm between Kool-Aid McKinstry, the corner out of Alabama. I'm gonna go the guy with a little bit. They both have actually really cool names. Chop Robinson and Kool-Aid McKinstry. It's a pretty both good combo of names. I think they go with the corner. I think they go corner out of Alabama, and I'm going to go Kool-Aid McKinstry. And I think he's coming off that foot injury, fractured his foot. If they think that is okay for training camp and all that kind of stuff, obviously it's not a super long-term injury, but something to monitor. Obviously, when you're drafting a guy in the first round, you're investing so much into him. But I think he's okay with that. And I'm going to go Kool-Aid McKinstry here at 26.
Well, I'm going to go Chop Robinson here for the Cardinals. They picked Marvin Harrison. So I think they're going to go defense here.
Chop Robinson?
And yeah, Chop Robinson. They got really no pass rushers. You know, now it's like corner, pass rusher. You kind of need to have those. So I'm going Chop Robinson and, you know, kind of get something going on that defense side.
Okay. Bills at 28. AD Mitchell, who's on the board, you can see on the screen, is my favorite player in this draft. Put it out there right now.
Adonai?
Yeah, Adonai Mitchell, but everyone calls him AD Mitchell.
Okay.
I know him that like that. No, this is just
you know him like that.
No, AD Mitchell sounds better than Adonai Mitchell. I think he's my favorite player in this draft, right? And I think if the Bills took him at 28, I would be over the moon about. But there's a guy here that I didn't think was going to get here, right? And he might not get here, right? Jared, we've only had 3.
Yeah, I really was expecting everyone to go wide receiver.
Right, we only had 3 receivers and 4 guys that catch passes, Brock Bowers being the 4th, right? But 3 receivers in Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, and Rome Odunze off the board. It fell, and look, you can see some of the teams coming up. We might get a couple more here, in my opinion, right? Just off what teams lost, in my opinion. And there's still AD Mitchell, there's still Brian Thomas, there's Troy Franklin, Ladd McConkey, Xavier Worthy, all that kind of stuff. Even Xavier Legette is a first-round talent. PFF doesn't think that, but he is a first-round talent. He said the Panthers are probably going to pick him at 33. He kind of openly said that yesterday.
Yeah,
which was a weird thing to say, in my opinion. But what?
I was going to say, yeah, that's weird.
Either the Panthers kind of told me that they're picking me either 33 or 34, wherever their second-round pick is. So if you guys want him in the first round, you got to go get him in the first round. But that shows where he is level-wise. I'm going to go, long story short here, I'm going to go Brian Thomas Jr. This kid's going to be an absolute stud, in my opinion, and I think he's probably going to go higher than this. I hope he doesn't, because that would be very nice, unless the Bills maybe potentially obviously teams trade up and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU. I mentioned earlier, LSU wide receivers tend to work out pretty well. Odell Beckham Jr., Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. You got Malik Neighbors, and then you got Brian Thomas Jr. I would be absolutely over the moon with this pick at 28.
Well, let's hope that happens for you, Pete.
Yeah, because you really want it to happen over there.
So I got 29th. I got the Lions.
What a fake comment that was.
What?
Nothing.
So I'm going to go corner here. I was thinking maybe another receiver. If Brian Thomas was still out there and you didn't pick him, I probably would have went there just because it's too good not to. I'm going to go. There's a lot of different corners I could go here. I'm like Rakestraw, Lassiter. I don't know why. So like French. But I am going to go TJ Tampa. I think he fits the Lions culture. And
We should have just made him go to Tampa.
yeah, I know. That would have been sick. And then have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey. It just says Tampa.
That's what I'm saying. That's awesome.
That's cool.
I think they kind of have to take him for the meme.
He's a bigger corner.
Yeah.
6'2", 200 pounds. I just think he fits the culture there. Detroit make those tackles and has a little fire under him. So TJ Tampa here.
Ravens at 30. We are coming to the end. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you are. Support, drop a comment, all that fun stuff. We really, really appreciate it. Ravens at 30, JR. They took Zay Flowers last year, right? They've taken Rashad Bateman. They tried the Odell experiment. What do they really need? They need – Detroit's taking a corner. Remember I said that off air?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jared. Okay, so what are the Ravens? I don't know. I'm just talking. Ravens at 30, right? They need a receiver, I think, right? I think this is a no-brainer in my opinion. It's just, what do they do here? What receiver do they want? Do they want A.D. Mitchell? Do they want Troy Franklin? Do they want Ladd McConkey? Somehow Xavier gets at 53 overall PFF. You might want to be a little better at your job. I don't think they go Keon Coleman. I think because they went Xavier Worthy last year, right? Not Xavier Worthy last year. Zay Flowers last year, excuse me, right? Also, Xavier Worthy's probably could be a back-end first-round talent, in my opinion. But they kind of went that speed kind of guy, Jay, that guy in the slot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they need a guy on the outside, a guy that can win the jump ball, can win the contested catch, that also can take the top off the defense. And I think you get that with A.D. Mitchell. So I think he's going to 30 to the Baltimore Ravens. Why is it not clicking? It's not clicking. My computer froze. Can you still see me?
Yeah, you're a little frozen.
My computer.
We'll just talk it through now.
I can't even get back onto the studio though. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Just keep going, I guess.
A.D. Mitchell, 30 to the Baltimore Ravens. Jared, who's at 31? The 49ers.
Yeah. So 49ers, great team all around. There's very few spots that they lack in. However, I think 31, there's a guy that I think fits their team pretty well. Kind of like a after the catch receiver. And I think Ayuk, there's debate about his future, and their receiving staff's getting a little older. So I am going to go Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. Spice things up towards the end of the first round.
Quick question. Can you see me move? Am I moving on the screen?
No, you're not.
This is fun, dude. This is podcasting at its best, and we're not going to change it because nothing we can do. You can hear me, though.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Jared goes, you guys will see this as social media as form. We'll get a tweet out. The last three picks are just, sorry, Ravens, 49ers, and Chiefs fans. You know what? You guys were in the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship game. I don't really feel bad for you. It's all good. And you know what, Ravens? You did that to yourself to lose in the AFC Championship game. And Chiefs fans, I definitely do not feel bad for you. 32 to the Chiefs, right? You just want Ladd McConkey to be correct, right? Just want to make sure. Yeah. So I don't take Ladd McConkey. Ravens go 30, A.D. Mitchell. We're going another receiver here, Jared. We talked about receivers maybe not going. They went early, kind of fell off in the teens into the 20s. Then we go Brian Thomas Jr. Then we go A.D. Mitchell. And then we go Ladd McConkey. I think at 32, they get their Tyreek Hill replacement, a guy that is super fast, that ran an absurd 40 time at the NFL Combine. And that is Xavier Worthy out of Texas.
Oh. So two Texas guys coming off the board at the end.
Two Texas guys. And we got one Byron Murphy a little earlier. Yeah. JR.
P, out of everyone that we didn't pick, so who is still out there, who would you say has the best chance at becoming a superstar? I know it's a wild question, but
yeah. I don't
look at these. You follow with the draft a lot.
Oh, we're back. We're back. You can't see me, can you?
No, we could hear you though.
Okay. Well, PFF works now, so that's good. I can pick people. So you went Ladd McConkey. I went Xavier Worthy. Just adding this update. You said guys that
maybe a couple guys who had the potential of being a great second round pick.
Yeah, look, there's a couple in my opinion, and my dark screen right now at the moment is telling you a lot. I think Xavier Legette's going to be really good. I think he has a first round kind of talent, right? I think Graham Barton out of Duke people like a lot. Jordan Morgan as well out of Arizona. I think those are some really good guys. I think Troy Franklin can take the top off the defense against anybody. I really do. I think maybe with a Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, good running back second round. I think the sweet spot of this draft for two positions, second and third round, is the defensive tackle room. I think there's going to be a lot of D tackles from the second to the fourth round. I think you're going to get a lot of D tackles, and I think the safety room in the second and third round is just littered with legit talent. Cameron Kitchens, Tyler Nubin, Javon Bullard, Tyke Smith, Cole Bishop, Jaden Hicks, all legit, I think, day one potential starters. So we didn't see any first round safeties go off the board. I think that's kind of by design, almost the fact that I think teams can get so many safeties on day two and into day three, in my opinion.
I also think this year's draft, the linebackers are just not really, the talent's not as it usually is.
It's not a great linebacker class, right? Like there's Peyton Willis, there's Edgerrin Cooper out of A&M.
Do you think any linebacker is going to go first round?
No, I think the only guy would be Peyton Wilson. Is it Willis or Wilson? Wilson.
I think Wilson.
He's not going. Look, I think no running back in the first round, no safety, which would probably be Tyler Nubin, but he's not worth a first round talent, and no linebacker in the first round. And the only, I guess, Troy Fatanu from Washington is going to be, he's listed as a tackle, is going to move to guard. Probably he could be an option as a only interior lineman, and he went. And obviously Jackson Powers Johnson as well.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's weird looking at the screen and just not seeing myself.
It's weird listening to you and not seeing it.
What is going on? Okay. Good thing to note. The PFF draft saved. So that's saved. So we have that. We got the picture. You guys will see that Thursday. The last 5 minutes of this thing got really weird. I don't know what happened to my camera at all. It literally says my camera is on.
Yeah, I'm sure maybe it'll record like that. Who knows?
Does it really matter? It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, nothing we can do about it. We are not redoing this. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed this. You guys will see this full mock draft on Thursday. This episode will be out Tuesday. I think we'll do Tuesday for the episode. You guys will see the full mock draft on Thursday if you didn't watch the episode, but watch it. Jared, where can everyone follow us on social media and who we sponsored by before we get out of here?
Hey guys, we are on Instagram, TikTok, and X at Talking Sports PD. Like Peter mentioned, we're going to upload our mock draft that we just did on the Twitter and Instagram. And then, NBA content, probably do picks per round, maybe do something with the NBA on X or Twitter. So at Talking Sports PD, Instagram, TikTok, and X. And then NBA's here. Bet on the playoffs. Use promo code TSP for 100% deposit match. On pick'ems. Pick'ems are fun. A lot of chance. They're in great rewards. So use promo code TSP for 100% deposit match when making your account.
Okay, from the dark screen of my bedroom, and you can see JR, that is going to do it for us. If you haven't already, go watch or listen to our NBA playoff preview. It's a great in-depth listen. I know it's a little long, but no worries. And if you prefer the NFL draft, obviously check this out. Let us know on social media. Let us know in the comment section how we did. Are you mad? I'm assuming people are going to be mad at us. It's just the NFL draft. Or maybe you're happy with who your team picked. Or let us know who you think your team is going to pick. That is going to do it for us. Make sure you check out the NBA draft preview. It's going to show up right on the screen in about 20 seconds, I think. Who knows? And Apple Podcast and Spotify, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That is going to do it for us. He was JR. I was Peter. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this NFL draft episode or preview. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Hopefully you can see me in the next one. Thank you.